Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub Time for another movie review. Yes, Chappaquiddick. I think I'm saying that right. I don't think there's any other way to say it. That's it, Chappaquiddick. Alright, what's that all about? So it's about Ted Kennedy and his involvement in a crash in 1969 that took the life of a young campaign strategist. So Mary Jo, I don't know, something like that. I don't know. It's a history film, you know, starring couple of interesting people in it. Jason Clarke, who plays Ted Kennedy, so I'm interested to see that. Kate Mara, who plays Mary Jo. Ed Helms is in it. Bruce Dern is in it. Jim Gaffigan is in it. Olivia Thirlby, who I know as well, and Clancy Brown. Shawshank Redemption, Pet Sematary. So I don't know, not something I'm crazy about seeing, but it's the highest rated film that I haven't seen that I have on my to-watch list. It's got a 6.6 from IMDb. Everything else is like below 5. I'll watch them, don't get me wrong, but I figure let's go with the numbers on this one. Tomorrow night maybe we'll take a little bit of a bigger risk. We'll see what this is about. I'm not a big history guy. I know about the Kennedys, of course, and Ted Kennedy, but not that much detail. So we'll see what it's about, and I'll, going into it blind, so I'll give you a better synopsis of what the movie tells us and tell you what I'm thinking. So stick around. Hey everybody, I want to do a quick check-in here. We're watching Chappaquiddick. 48 minutes and 6 seconds into the movie we are. Chappaquiddick is an island in Massachusetts, and that's where this accident has occurred. Hence the title of the movie. So we're learning a little something. I'm sure everybody's out there like, no kidding. But yeah, so that's one thing that I learned. And he was out. They were all partying, at a cottage or something like that, or a cabin, whatever, out on this island. Nothing crazy. But then, he decided he wanted to go for a ride, and he took Mary Jo, who was played by Kate Mara, and they went out and they talked. Whatever. And then they were coming back, and it seems as though he might have fell asleep. And a cop came by, but he just pulled over to the side of the road, which was interesting. No accident or anything like that. The cop's yelling, "Are you okay?" Having car trouble or anything like that. And Ted decides to back up and just pull out and start driving. And driving down the road, now he's kind of awake, but he doesn't see a turn. Car goes into the river, lake, whatever, body of water, and that's where she died. Somehow he makes it out, but she can't. So that's a little interesting here, because he survives, and then he's showing maybe just thoughts of what he thinks happening to her, but like how come she couldn't get out. Ed Helms plays a good friend of his. He refers to him as his brother, but it's not really his brother. They're just really good friends, maybe cousins or something like that. And his attorney, and he's trying to, he goes back and he gets them and tries to get their help. They ask him to report it. He does not report it initially, and now he's going through they're discovering the car, they're finding the body, and they know it's his car. He's calling all these people, starting to the PR guy, and calling his dad and stuff like that, and spinning stories and trying to say he wasn't driving. And so now it seems like maybe he's changing his mind and he might change his story. Not 100% sure, but that's really what it's been about here since the accident. It's just him determining what he wants to do, what story he wants to tell. So I'm not sure how much of this is true. Or how much is fabricated for the movie. It's starting to play a little bit longer. How do you say? It's not that, like you just kind of want it to move a little bit faster at this point. We got an hour left, just about 58 minutes or so. So I'm not sure what else is going to happen here, but I think it's going to drag on for a bit. But I'll get back into it. One good thing about this movie, it is not very political yet, or anything like that. It's really just like about an accident that happened to somebody. It just happens to be Ted Kennedy. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe we'll get into what the story is and what were the repercussions for Ted moving forward. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen, but I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and start watching it again, and if anything interesting happens, I'll check back in. I doubt that though, so I'll probably see you at the credits. Stick around. Hey everybody, we're at the credits. Chappaquiddick, the Ted Kennedy story. So I have to tell you, it started out, it was a little boring to me. I don't know if you picked up on that. For my first part of it, it was boring and it was long and drawn out. You know, the action of the wreck and everything like that was, you know, held your interest, and then it just seemed like it just drug on. And then after the first break or after the first check-in, it was again about how he's going to change his story to make sure that he's taken care of is ultimately it. You know, he's debating in his mind, and then what's he going to do? And of course his father, you know, puts the soldiers at work, so puts everybody, lawyers and, you know, just all the people that can protect him, and start like, hey, how are we going to tell this story? And I don't know, what also is interesting to me, so this is a story about Ted Kennedy and how people allow this, because I felt throughout this movie I did not like Ted Kennedy. You know, in the beginning it wasn't too bad. He was just a normal guy, but when after the accident and when everybody was trying to help him, and he was like above it all, and he felt that he knew what was best and how to handle the situation, and he was making decisions on his own, and seemed like too proud to accept the help, and although it was help in protecting him kind of stuff. So, you know, I really came out of this movie not really liking him as a character. But again, I don't know what has really happened. This is the side of the story. I did quick research. I mean, obviously the incident happened. After the incident, he went on for, you know, a long career as a senator of Massachusetts. Never wins a presidency. I'm not ruining a movie for you. That's actual history. You know, so all of this behind the scenes is just maybe just the tale that helps elaborate on some of the theories that were presented throughout this movie on the Ted Kennedy, the accident with Mary Jo and car there. So, you know what I mean? I'm trying to escape from that. I wasn't there. We don't know. I'm sure it was never told. You know, there's many different versions of the story and who was right and, you know, what really happened. But the important thing that happened was the voters and, you know, the public believed in him and what he came out and said, and the story that they had provided. And this is showing how they came to that story. And at least this is a version of how they came to that story. Maybe the story was really true, and whoever wrote this movie is a conspiracy theorist. You know what I mean? Believes in conspiracies. So it helped me like the movie a little bit more. I was sitting here, I was a 5 the whole way through. And I don't know how much more elevated, maybe up to a 6 because of the impact it had on me. So I thought the story was boring and drawn out, as I am doing to you right now, being boring and drawn out. But it made me more interested when I realized what was really happening in it. This is not, you know, this is not a documentary. This isn't factual. This is just somebody's version of the story, and made that more interesting to me. So, 5.5, 6, I don't know. Does that really matter? Do you really care? Are you interested in this type of stuff? Are you interested in the Kennedy and the curse of the Kennedys and all that stuff that goes along with this? This is a small little snippet of, I mean, you know, this family. I mean, we know John Kennedy was assassinated, so was Bobby Kennedy, and then Joe Kennedy was killed in World War II. So, you know, and then there's all these other things too that has happened. I don't have to go into that history. You could look it up yourself, but there is some sort of curse, whereas Ted Kennedy kind of, you know, continued on, was never assassinated or murdered or anything like that, but he did have this incident, and this is the story behind that. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, I'd check it out, and see their version of what they're trying to sell you here. So that's it. That's all I got for you. Slightly excited that I kind of watched this movie. I was bored for a while, but in the end, I think it was worth it. So maybe you'll find it interesting a little bit too. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Love to hear your comments. Subscribe to my channel and all that jazz. Thanks for tuning in. Kimmel's Irish Pub.